Good morning. I am Pradeep Bansal from the Department of Botany, Kishanlal Public College, Rewari. Today we are here to discuss the physical properties of water and its biological importance. Water is the main constituent of both plants and animals. 60 to 90% of the body weight of plants and animals is made up of water. And water is also acting like the medium in various physiological activities. To start our discussion, we study the structure of water. Water is having one atom of oxygen and two atoms of hydrogen. The atomic number of hydrogen is 1, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. But this hydrogen is having 1 electron in its valence shell, oxygen is having 6 electrons in its valence shell. Now, one electron, the only electron of hydrogen, is shared with one electron of oxygen to form the strong covalent bond, the sharing of electron to form the covalent bond. Now another electron of oxygen is also sharing with hydrogen to form another strong covalent bond. Now oxygen is having more electron affinity, therefore we can say this oxygen is having more electron affinity towards electron, making it partial negatively charged. Hydrogen is becomes partial positively charged. Due to this unequal distribution of charges on the water molecule, this water becomes dipolar. Now, these lone pair of electrons will repel one another, forming the water molecule band-shaped structure. Now, this oxygen and hydrogen, this covalent bond, the intermolecular distance between hydrogen and oxygen is 95.84 picometer, that is 0.095 nanometer, and the angle between this hydrogen is 104 degree 45 minutes. This partial distribution of charges on this water molecule is responsible for formation of intermolecular hydrogen bonding between this water molecule. Now this water molecule is a we can say the charge structure having the distribution of both positive and negative charges. This hydrogen, which is positively charged, is attracted towards the negatively charged oxygen of other water molecule, forming a we can say force of attraction that is called to be hydrogen bond. Likewise, this another hydrogen of water molecule is being attracted by oxygen of neighboring water molecule, forming another intermolecular hydrogen bond. This oxygen, which is negatively charged, is attracted towards the positively charged hydrogen of another water molecule. Likewise, a fourth molecule up or down, that is forming a tetrahedral structure of water molecule. This one water molecule is surrounded by four other water molecule, forming the by the process of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Now, this is the dipolar nature of water, that means the distribution of both positive and negative charges on the water molecule, and capacity of water, or we can say affinity of water to form this intermolecular hydrogen bonding is responsible for strong affinity of water molecule with one another, and any other charged substance is having strong affinity towards water molecule, therefore more salt can be dissolved in water. The properties of physical properties of water: water is inorganic, transparent, colorless, tasteless, and highly incompressible liquid. That means water in pure state is not having any color, not having any smell, or not having any taste. Now, what is its biological importance? We know the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process in which 6 molecules of carbon dioxide combines with 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. It forms the carbohydrate for us, and life-supporting gas oxygen is liberated in the process of photosynthesis. Now, water is acting like the medium in which this process of photosynthesis occurs. Now, another important we can say property of water, or we can say use of water, is this water is also acting like the substrate in the process of photosynthesis. Therefore, this water is substrate in this process of photosynthesis. This aquatic life is we can say feasible due to the transparent property of water. Therefore, water is a habitat for the aquatic life. Next is water expand on freezing. While we know that maximum substances on freezing will shrink, not expand, while the water will expand on freezing. Now, why it is so important? Because the solid ice floats on the liquid surface. We know that a solid is more denser than liquid, but it is not in case of water. Therefore, ice is less denser than liquid water. Why it is there? Because ice is having an open lattice structure. When this ice melt, the void spaces, or we can say the empty spaces, which are present in water are occupied by the liquid water. Therefore, this water is having maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius. With the increase in temperature, the density of water will increase. Okay. Now, what is its biological importance? This ice, which will float on the aquatic body, is forming a continuous layer. Therefore, the organisms which are lying under the water, or we can say which are present under the water, is not affected by dropping down the temperature. Therefore, the aquatic life becomes feasible in these colder regions. This ice is forming an insulating sheath, therefore does not allowing the fluctuation in temperature deep into the water bodies. Therefore, we can say that these water animals, here these aquatic animals can survive in polar region. Now, water is having high boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. What is this boiling point? Boiling point is the temperature at which the liquid state start converting into its vapor state, or we can say starting into its gaseous state, that is 100 degrees Celsius. When we compare this boiling point of water with the other molecules like methane and ammonia, which are having similar molecular weight as compared to the water, are gaseous in state. That means their boiling point is very less. Now this water is also having high heat of vaporization. High heat of vaporization, the value is 40.65 kilojoule per mole, or in terms of calorie it is for 540 calorie per gram at 100 degrees Celsius. Now what is this heat of vaporization? This is the amount of heat required to convert a unit amount of substance into its gaseous state, from liquid state to its gaseous state. That means this amount of energy required to convert 1 gram of liquid water into its gaseous state is very high. Now what is the reason for this high heat of vaporization? Because the amount of heat is required to we can say convert the liquid state into its vapor state. This liquid state is converting into vapor state when this molecule of water will be getting the kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is we can say increased to convert the liquid state into its gaseous state. But in case of water, there is hydrogen bonding, intermolecular hydrogen bonding is there. Therefore, an extra amount of energy is required to break these intermolecular hydrogen bonding, in addition to the amount of energy required to convert the liquid state into its vapor state. Therefore, an extra amount of energy is required. Now, what will be its biological importance? This is important for the living organism because they absorb more heat, and by absorbing more heat they loses less water, therefore making the body temperature constant. The body temperature will not increase due to presence of water in the body, therefore responsible for maintaining the constant body temperature without raising the body temperature very high. Now next property of water are having high specific heat, that is 4.17 joule per gram at 25 degrees Celsius. Here the temperature is fixed. In this heat of vibration, we are increasing the temperature. Now what is specific heat? This is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water. If we talk about the water, 1 gram of water from 25 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. That means when we increase the temperature by 1 unit degree Celsius, by 1 degree Celsius, this amount of energy is required in case of water. Next is, it is having high latent heat of vaporization, that is 2.26 kilojoule per gram, or which is equivalent to 40.8 kilojoule per molecule of water. What is this high latent heat of vaporization? This is the amount of heat required to convert the 1 gram of liquid into its gaseous state at constant temperature and pressure. Because with the fluctuation in temperature and pressure, this value of latent heat of vaporization changes. Therefore, this heat of vaporization is very high in case of water. Now, what is its biological importance? It absorbs more heat but loses less water. That means it minimizes the loss of water in the process of transpiration when temperature outside is very high. This property of water is responsible for standing the plants in extreme summer or in extreme hot without much effect. Now, this property of water is also responsible for cooling of the leaf surfaces when water is evaporated from the leaf surface. Water is transpired from the leaf surface by absorbing more heat, and this water which is accumulated near the leaf surface also get evaporated, and now this evaporation is responsible for cooling the leaf surfaces. Likewise, in extreme summer, or we can say in hot weathers, our body sweats. It loses the water in liquid form. When this liquid water evaporates from our body becomes cool by losing the energy in the form of heat by converting this liquid water which is present in body to its vapor state. So this property of water is responsible for maintaining the system in plants. Water is an excellent solvent. Why the water is an excellent solvent? What is the meaning of excellent solvent? That means it dissolves more type of substances. Which type of substances are dissolved in water? Which are ionic and polar. Ionic and polar means they may have any charges on it, and the amount of substance dissolved in water is very high as compared to other liquid. Now, why this property of water is there? Water is very small in size, very compact in size. Number two, it is polar in nature. Polar in nature means it is having positive charge on hydrogen and negative charge on oxygen. Now, this water is also having high dielectric constant. What is this dielectric constant? This is the ability of a substance to neutralize the charges. Like we consider the sodium chloride. When we dissolve the sodium chloride, that is a common salt, it will dissociate into its positively charged sodium and negatively charged chloride ion. Now this positively charged sodium ion is surrounded by water. This water is having oxygen which is partially negatively charged. Therefore, this negatively charged atom of water molecule is attracted towards positively charged sodium ion. Likewise, this positively charged hydrogen of water are being attracted towards negatively charged chloride ion. Therefore, any ionic substance which is having charges on it, whether it is positively charged or negatively charged substance, are being attacked, or we can say being surrounded by water molecules with their corresponding charges. Negative charge is being attracted by positive charge, and positive charge is being attracted by negatively charged of water molecule. Therefore, this water molecules becomes an excellent solvent, because this property of water is responsible for dissolution of more sugar and proteins, because these sugar and proteins are having hydroxyl group, amino group, or any other charged substances on it, or any electrolyte can be dissolved in water. Therefore, this property of water is due to polar nature and high dielectric constant of water. Next, ionization of water. We know that ionization of water is responsible for production of equal number of hydroxyl ion and protons. Therefore, making we can say this water molecule produces same number of positively charged and same number of negatively charged ion. Therefore, the pH of water is 7. This process of ionization occurs. How this process of ionization occurs in water? Two molecules of water will ionize to produce one molecule of hydronium ion, and one is hydroxyl ion. This hydronium ion is nothing but it is a hydrated water molecule, or we can say hydrogenated water molecule. This hydronium ion on ionization will further produces one water molecule and one proton. Therefore, what will be the net equation? One water molecule will produce one hydroxyl ion and one proton. Therefore, it will produce the equal number of hydroxyl ion and equal number of proton. Therefore, this water is having neutral pH, that is 7. Therefore, this water is acting like the buffer system in human body, or we can say in plants also. Therefore, this water is due to this property of water to produce the negatively and positively charged ion. This is responsible for maintaining the acid and base neutralization in plant body. This ionization of water is important. Now, water is having high surface tension. How this water is having high surface tension? We know that this is the liquid water, and on upper side it is, we can say, air, which is having lesser amount of water in vapor form, or may not be there. Now this water molecule which is on the surface will experience a force of attraction towards downward side, because here is the water molecule, here is the water molecule. They will attract the water molecule towards downward direction, while the water which is present inside this we can say liquid state, this attracts the equal force of attraction towards all other side by other water molecule. Therefore, this water molecule which are present on the surface will experience uneven pulling of water towards downward direction. This is responsible for maintaining the spherical shape of water. Therefore, water is having, we can say assume the spherical shape, or we can say assume the drop shape in liquid state. This property of water is known as cohesive force. Cohesive force is the force of attraction between the substances of same type. This water molecule is being attracted by other water molecule. This is called to be the cohesive property of water. And this water is also having property to be attracted by other hydrophilic substances. Likewise, cellulose, starch, these are also proteins, and other carbohydrates are hydrophilic substances. Therefore, these plant cells are made up of these substances. Therefore, this property of water is responsible for attracting the water molecule towards these biomolecules. This property of water, that is cohesive and adhesive property of water, is responsible for maintaining the continuous water column. Water column does not break during the process of excessive transpiration. Transpiration is the loss of water in vapor form from the surfaces of leaf. This water, when this rate of transpiration is very high, this water column develops a negative pressure. That means it becomes, it come under tension. Tension means a negative pressure is developed on the water column. Water is being pulled from the leaf surfaces. When this water is being pulled from the negative surfaces, the water is pulled towards upward direction. And this adhesive and cohesive property of water is responsible for maintaining the water column a continuous chain, does not allow the water column to break. Next, another important property of water, minerals are transported from one part of the plant to another through xylem, because this water is absorbed from the soil. From the water absorbed from the soil, these minerals which are present in soil are dissolved in water, and along with water, along with the transpiration pull, along with the water which is moving in upward direction, these minerals are also transported from one part of the plant to another through xylem. Next, translocation of food in soluble form occurs through phloem. We know that in the process of photosynthesis, the food is prepared by the leaves or other aerial parts. Now this food which is prepared by the process of photosynthesis is converting into sucrose. The sucrose is dissolved in water and transported from the source, that means from the point of manufacturing to the point of utilization. That means leaf are the kitchen of the plant. They synthesize the food, and this food is dissolved in water and transferred from leaf to all other parts of the plant where the food is required. And translocation of food in this sucrose form occurs through phloem. Next, turgidity of plant cell is highly required for the process of growth, division, and maintaining the shape and size of the plant. What is turgidity? When the plant absorbs the water, it becomes, gets swollen, and this swollen condition is called to be the turgidity in plant. That means the plant cell becomes hard, and this is responsible for growth and division. How the growth of division? Suppose we are talking about the root hair. This root hair is not tough. The root hair is not hard. It will not penetrate deep into the soil. Therefore, the root hair is penetrating into the soil due to this trajectory of root hairs. When the cell is going under the division, the first condition is cell must be turgid. When cell is turgid, then only the cell will divide. Now, this is also responsible for maintaining the shape and size of any plant cell or plant tissue or an organ. When this plant is turgid, then only the shape and size of the plant can be maintained. Now, this water is also responsible for removal of the waste product. Various type of waste product are produced in the plant, and these are also dissolved in water and removed from the plant. Now, opening and closing of stomata. This stomata are the, we can say, modified epidermal cell, which may be the kidney shape or which may be the dumbbell shape in plants. When these absorb the water from other epithelial cell, the guard cell becomes turgid and stomata will open. When they loses the water to their surrounding cell, this guard cell become flaccid and stomata will close. This opening and closing of stomata is responsible for maintaining the amount of water in the plant, or we can say in other terms we can say that the opening and closing of stomata will control the loss of water from the plant in the process of transpiration. The opening and closing of stomata is due to turgidity and flaccidity of guard cell. Now this water is also responsible for dehiscence of fruits and seed. Now this water, we can say the fruit component, here the parts of the fruit absorb the water and responsible for bursting. Now, due to bursting of this fruit, these seeds are dispersed to the, we can say, surrounding and responsible for survival of the plant. Now seeds, after absorbing the water, the seed coat will break due to absorption of this water. Therefore, this water is also responsible for germination of seeds, dispersal of seeds, the essence of fruits, we can say breaking of seed coat. All these are the, we can say, the processes which are depends on water. Now we have seen the touch me not plant, that is called to be Lajvanti, or we can say Mimosa pudica. This plant movement, we have seen that when we touch the plant, its leaf will, we can say, come in contact with one another and whole of the plant will drop down. This is due to absorption of water or release of water to the, we can say, a special type of cell, loosely arranged cell in which are present in the leaf. This will lose the water and becomes flaccid. Therefore, this plant becomes, we can say, this plant will collapse. And when they absorb the water from again these loosely arranged parenchymatous cell, they will become turgid and the plant will become erect. Therefore, this in touch me not plant, we are calling it the seismonastic movement. A touch movement is due to absorption and release of water. Next is hydrotropic movement. Hydrotropic movement is the movement of growth. It is particularly the growth movement of roots. We can say the root are bending towards the source of water. Okay, therefore this we can say water is acting like a stimulus. A directional stimulus is there which is responsible for bending of these plant towards the water or opposite from the water. These hydrotropic movements are also controlled by water, and in this case the water is acting like a stimulus. Now this is also the end product of cellular respiration. We know the opposite reaction of photosynthesis is respiration, in which the food, we can say the carbohydrate or protein, get oxidized to produce molecular oxygen, oxidized to produce the water and carbon dioxide. This water is also the end product in the process of respiration. When we are talking about the biological importance of water, it is limitless, but to concise, we can say we stop our topic here, the biological importance of water and its physical properties. Now, thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you. Thank you, sir.